Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I want to show all of you how you can add sound effects or music to a animation in Blender and then export it to a video format, keeping the audio intact. So here we have a cube. I'm just going to animate it in the simplest way possible. We'll go over to the animation page, and then I'm going to enable auto keying if it hasn't been enabled right here already. I'm going to select the object, hit S to scale, and then left click immediately, keeping the scale at 1.0 value. So that will set the keyframing for that point there. I'll go to frame 90. I'm going to hit S to scale, put in 3 as the size, hit enter. And now we're going to have a keyframing where we've tripled the size of the object. So now if we go to frame 0, hit play, we're going to have a simple animation where it scales up. So we want to take this and add some sound to it. So in order to do that, let's go over on the compositing tab at the top. So now in order to add some audio to this animation, we need to open up the sequencer. So I'm going to come down here and pull open a new window. Let's look for the video sequencer, or Shift F8 on the keyboard. Going to pull it up so we can see it. So on one of these tracks, we want to add in some audio. So in order to add our audio in the sequencer, we go to the add menu. We go down to sound. We locate sound on our computer. So here I have a song as an MP3 file. I'm going to add this as a sound strip. And now we have this in the one spot for the sequencer. So if I go ahead and hit play, our animation is going to go off and the music will be included in the background. What we're going to want to do before we export, though, is limit the amount of frames in our exported animation. So on the right side in the properties window, we can go over here to output properties. I'm going to take frame start and frame end and just make it the number of frames we actually want. So we'll start on frame 1 and I'll end on frame 90. So we can see in the dope sheet, our animation basically gets cut off here. And that also applies to the sequencer. So we're just going to get a hard cut of the music right here. Now, normally, if you just render from Blender, it's going to render into PNG format by default. That's just an image or a series of images. So in order to actually include the music in the final export, we need to click on this and go to a video format. So under movie, I'm going to select FFmpeg video. And in encoding, I can just go down here and choose something very common. Matroska, I believe that's .mkv, very common. MPEG-4, also common, so we'll just do MPEG. And then finally down here at the bottom where it says audio, you need to select an audio codec. So I think that most of these would work. I'll just go ahead and select MP3 as the final audio codec since the file we brought in was MP3 anyway. And now we just have to render this animation. Make sure under output that you choose a destination for your rendered result. So I'll make this my desktop and I'll call the final file audio test. Let's accept that. And now we can go up to render and then render animation. So that's Control F12 on the keyboard. And now before we actually render the animation, we have to have a camera in our scene. So in the 3D viewport, I'm going to hit Control A, go down to camera. And then I'm going to hit Control Alt 0 to make the camera match to the current view. And we can go ahead and test our animation here. I'm going to go to frame 1, hit play, make sure that the camera can actually see everything inside of your scene. And let's also add in a light as well so we can see the color. I'll just make it a sunlight, move it up here a little bit. Let's take a look at the rendered viewport shading and angle the sun a little bit. So now we can go up to the render menu in the top left, go down to render animation and let it run for a minute until it's rendered all of the frames. And this should be exported as the video file we set. Okay, so all 90 frames in our animation are rendered. Let's go ahead and check my desktop. So on the desktop, we can see the MP4 video file has exported. Let's go ahead and double click it and make sure everything is running properly and we can hear the audio. So that in a nutshell is how you can take a Blender animation, add sound effects or music to it, and then export it to a video file that is actually going to include that audio. So I've been Chris. Thanks for watching. I hope you all got something out of this video, and I will see you in my future video content.